Your Humanities Half Hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.
Hoppaday Zandro. Welcome to Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry. Today we're talking about a group that has a long history of connection with the Marianas, the Micronesian Repatriation Association of Okinawa. Members of the group were in Saipan and Tinian in early December, and we were able to catch up with some of their members and also other individuals who are connected with them here in the Marianas. Our conversation today is going to be in English and Japanese. Starting us off is the director of Pacific Development, Inc., who is the tour company that usually guides the group while they're here in the Marianas. Here's the director, Gordon Marciano.
We're here to join these families that have come all the way from Okinawa. They're a group of, they're called the organization Micronesian Repatriation Association of Okinawa. Most of them were born and raised here. A couple of them went yesterday to Tinian, and they also did their pilgrimage visit there, and today they're doing it here. And that's why we're here today.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the organization? They have a long history of coming back every year normally, correct?
Correct. A long history, especially when it went into the 80s when Chairman Chioko Yokoda took over the organization. The name was pretty much like it stood out in our community because he always echoed how he's a Tinian boy. And he even got a driver's license from here just to show to Okinawa that he is from here. And that's the spirit of these folks. I mean, they haven't forgotten the sights and sounds of our CNMI where they were born. And honestly, it's something that I grew up with also, with my grandma, Teresa Ichihara, as they call her. And I've always said that it is something that if anything, we can always come out and help them and be with them. And I remember all the stories from each of them when they would drive them around, either Saipan or Tinian, pointing out the sights, and you can see the water in their eyes, how they can remember growing up here. And that's why we come together like this and be a part of it.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your family's personal connection with this group? Because it kind of goes beyond the uniform you're wearing today, Team PDI, doesn't it?
Yes, it goes beyond Team PDI. The Japanese and Okinawans, they're no strangers in our home, especially with Grandma Teresa Ichihara and Usei San Miguel Ichihara. We grew up remembering how every ceremony we had to be present, and every bone collection we were there for that too. I remember that in a year, every quarter there was about 6 to 12 Japanese in that house. Grandpa would wake up early in the morning and cook their food before they head out into the fields to look for these bones. Grandma was busy with taking care of the tourists as a tour guide. And then in the evening, after work, they'll meet up at the house and again just repeat over cooking and enjoying the setting with these folks when they sit down and talk about the stories of the past. Yeah.
The feeling I'm getting spending some time with them today is they feel like locals.
They are locals. I mean, when I had the opportunity to visit Okinawa, and as we sat around the table, they are locals. They made me feel like they are from Tinian, they are from Luta, they are from Saipan, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm a Tinian boy," like that, and you can feel it when they say that because they really, stress that they are from here. They were born and raised here, and this is pretty much their home away from home. And when they come here, you can see them, they're like children, man. Their spirit just opens up, and they're all over the place. So yesterday, while the others were in Tinian, the others were really just around the island, visiting and going and seeing places and the sites of the Saipan. So yesterday was the Chilean group, and now today we're here doing the ceremony for this group.
Now, this is not an official trip of the group, as I understand. It's kind of an informal, those that wanted to come. And then on Friday, there was an event hosted by not only PDI and government offices, but a lot of locals turned out in support of this unofficial dinner that you had. Tell us how that came about and why that is.
I heard a group was coming in. I wasn't so sure. They just said they were from Okinawa. And I said, oh, that's good. And then when they gave me the list, it was the Repatriation group. So I asked my colleagues, are we putting anything for them? And they said they're trying to put something together. And I said, well, let me help out. And I thought of the first people that I thought of was, I would say, the third generation. Our third generation, the ones that I remember growing up with when we are standing around the ceremonial areas, like Charles Villagomez, si Jack P to them, si Edmond, Speaker Edmond. I mean, I called him up and I just said, look, let's do something for them. I mean, you'll be representing your grandfather, I'm representing my grandma, and then Speaker, I said, you're representing your grandma. So it was like a fourth and fifth coming together, and then a lot of the foods that were brought over, although it was a busy Friday, a lot of events happening, people just dropped the chunchulu, because when they heard that we here, they called back, asking me, they're busy, but what kind of chinchulu can they drop? And I said, whatever comes from the heart. And if you're busy, we understand. But I said I only reached out because those of you who I remembered, and I don't know where else to go because a lot of our elders are gone. And then, I have to go up and also check see Uncle Lipan, see Congressman, see Uncle Tsu, Guerrero, Jesus Guerrero, because of Uncle Herman. And then it was just trying to pick my brain and trying to remember, recalling all those families, and that's how all these families came together and brother Chunchulus. So I had to sit back and really say, my goodness, this is for me, remembering like at times we were at Susupi Lake, when they would say their last farewell goodbyes, or we were at the Royo Taga, when all these families came together. These are days when there was no tour operators. This was when the families were the ones that were stepping up, and that's why I stood the other night, and he just brought me back to that sense, like, wow, although it is PDI, but it's, taking care of them as land agent, but it was beyond PDI's reach. It's a community. It's remembering who they are, and I personally just wanted to say, Tomohul Hilisso, Mosi, because for me, I say that it's always about our families coming together and being part of it. Shouts out to all of them. Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I just love all of you guys, and thank you very much from these folks. I know that they're becoming a smaller group as they're getting older, passing on, but I see also the younger generation now coming, and I would like to just say, if they're always here, I'm going to reach out to you guys again, and let's be a part of it and continue to make it happen for them.
I actually caught up with Uncle Gordon and his family at the memorial ceremony held at the Okinawan Memorial in Marpi on Saipan, where he and members of the group and family members and friends gathered to remember family and friends who died here during World War II. After the ceremony, I was able to also chat with the chairman of MRA, Mr. Kensei Kamiunten. Our conversation was facilitated by translator Hiroko Tajima of PDI.
Kamiunten desu. Hi. Nice to meet you.
コロナ禍が終わってやっとサイパンに戻ることができてどう思いましたか？
嬉しい反面この亡くなった子 こういう人たちの魂がよみがえられるので、ちょっと悲しい面もあります。でも現在は私たちいつまでも悲しんでいたおられませんので、御霊を悲しませるように、よりも慰め喜んでもらおうと、そういうことで今はこちらに来る時も喜んで来るように心がけております。
It is so glad to can come back after the COVID-19. But on the other hand, thinking about the people who passed away during the war, so if I remember about them, I feel sad. But we cannot be sad all the time. So I feel like we should think about like coming back is really fun time and make if we are happy, they're gonna be happy also. The person who passed away here. So that's why we wanted to come back here to be happy and visit local friends.
特にこのサイパン戦が日本軍が悪魔に感じ、初めの頃は神様かと思ったけども、戦争が始まってからは日本の軍隊は悪魔だと思ったんです。デマばっかり流してて、それで住民をこれを耳つんぼにさして、それでこのアメリカ兵は悪魔だという宣伝ばかりをやっていました。でところが実際にアメリカに保護されてみると、もうその日本軍が流していたデマは全くの嘘だということを初めて分かりました。その時にはアメリカ兵は神の使いじゃないかな、日本が悪魔の弟子じゃないかなと思いました。
During the war, the civilians are taught by the Japanese soldier the American is bad, and we believed it. But once the war is ended, we realized it was not true, and Americans are really good to help civilians. So they thought that it was not a true story.
Chairman, do you have any message for the local people?
もう昔から戦争前から私たちはチャモロやカロリニアンと大変仲良く暮らしておりました。今後ともこの昔以上にさらにこの沖縄の人とカロリニアンあるいはチャモロと仲良くいけたらなと思っています。
I think before the war, Okinawans really be good friend with locals, Chamorro and Carolinian, and he hoped that this good relationship will continue to the next generation.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
はい、
はい、ありがとう。終わりです。ありがとうございます。
Our show today is about the Micronesian Repatriation Association of Okinawa. We'll be back with more after this break.
I Northern Marianas Humanities Council, Bula Guinahanya puri historian Marianas zan kultura. Sinyon soda SCCNN formacion gi zon mami website nmhcouncil.org. Pat bisita gi YouTube, pat Facebook. Guahaloque diferentes clasen la bluna sinya un fan. I Northern Marianas Humanities Council has uzura todo I experiencia tautau.
Welcome back to Your Humanities Half Hour. We're talking about the Micronesian Repatriation Association of Okinawa. And in this half of the show, we talk with one of the participants who made the recent trip to Saipan and Tinian in December 2022, who's over 90 years old, talking about her experience living here when she was a child. Again, we thank our translator for her assistance.
乗ってったの？She remember about when she was 3 years old. Her parents have a friend Carolinian, and that time she also went on the ride of traditional canoe. She remember that time the Carolinian has like a traditional clothes. You know that the red, what do you call like the kuro. And remember the coconut. Hi.
The coconut on the
Yeah, on the after she graduated junior high school, she didn't go to upper education. She decided to. She became like a dentist assist in Saipan. Yes. And when she started working for the dentist, then the war began.
だって私たちは南洋町の払い下げてね、サイパンの土地をある程度自分たちの土地にして持っていったので、そのそばにワナザアダって言ってね、
アダさん？
はい、アダさんの土地のそばだからすぐここ
畑があったんですか？
いやいやこの屋敷の隣はアダさんの団長、本家はほらここでガラパンにあって月曜日から土曜日まであっちで農業なんかしてで土曜日にはみんな帰って教会行って月曜日に帰ってくるわけですよ。あっちは団長って言おった仮小屋だよね。
仮小屋？
月曜日から土曜日まではあそこでここのチャモロはねほとんどそう、チャモロ生活してるわけ、で豚も飼ってるし、あそこでちょっとした畑もあるしで、で土曜日の夕方にはまたここに
自分のお家。
そう、
はい、それが千代子さん家のお隣さんだったんですか？そう
だからマンゴっていうのはほとんどがチャモロの人のうちの屋敷にあってめったいに他にはないから、だからマンゴーの時期内ね乗り越えてってそこでやって
お隣のうちのマンゴーをもらったり
そうそんなこんなでお友達になっていたので、
Her neighbor was other family and they have like a house but so like a weekday they went and work at the farm near the farm and stayed there. Only weekend those other family came back to their house which is next to Chioko-san's house. And they got like a communication together. And she remembers that the other family's house has a big mango trees. So when the mango season, she go over to get some mangoes from their places like that.
What other kind of foods did her family usually eat when they lived here?
うちはね、それだけの畑持ってるから、おじさんたちが4、5名はずっと住み込みでいるでしょ。豚も飼ってる、牛も飼ってる、ヤギも飼ってる、アヒルも鳥も。だから結構私は学校で教育で私正直言ってお嬢さん育ちですよ。ね、その戦争のおかげで帰ってから農業もして。アメリカに対して4名亡くなってるから私は家族すごく敵外心を持ってるの。今はそうじゃないけど、だから軍作業絶対出ない。ほんでそこでも昭和15年16年頃から英語廃止、英語を使っていけないって言って、ABCD だけはようやく習った、その後からない。だから英語絶対英語は使わない。軍作業も出ない。だから私軍の仕事も何もしてない。だからって今ね英語習っておけばよかったって気持ちも全くない。
Most likely they eat rice and since their the house was rented by somebody and it has a huge field so they grow some vegetable and also like raise some cows and pigs and what she said, but like plenty animals. So the things they can eat, it's plenty things they can eat from there. And before the war, when the war started, we are prohibited to use English. Yes, and but she don't feel like, oh, I should have studied English or something like that.
What made her the happiest? What were the things that made her happy when she was growing up here?
After school, she go to the ocean to get some the eatable clam. Yes, the clams. So pick some clams.
That was her favorite.
Yeah, favorite thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she have any kind of games they used to play when she was young?
あのね、マリツキ、お手玉、ね、そういったものが、それと、
using the ball, dribbling or with hand and like that, and also like they have like a beanbag that making like a Japanese what you call like a juggling things. Yes, those.
ママごとね。
Just pretend like the child pretend like their mother and doing some house things.
食べて海に行けないときまた山に登っていけば、野生のパパヤがある。それからまたグアバがある。アテツって言ってね、なる果物がある。オレンジがある。蜂もいっぱいいるけど、またそんなの取りに行ったり、男の子たちも一緒になると。
Also, when they go jungle, they pick some fruits like papaya, なんだっけ、パパイヤとかオレンジや like wild fruits they pick, and also like if they are together with the boys, they try to make like a tree house and they play like that.
その上がってたところのこのこの旦那が奥さんと別れたかなくなったかわからんけど、日本人の人と結婚して、女の子ができたのよ、その子、またそこでその子を森に行ってね遊ばした森にしてあげて、そんな人とこにも行ったりして、もううち親が昔は不衛生でしょ。
She's saying about her neighbor Ada's family. I think they divorced, and husband got a new wife. She was Japanese, and they had a little baby. And she really liked small children, so she went to their house to taking care of the baby. And when the other family treated her some food, local food, which is like a titijas or like a barbecuing fish and many things, local dishes, she really enjoyed, like it. And when she she also have some communication with other island people like Palau. So when she came back from, she went back to Okinawa and she came back as a memorial like tour like this for so many often. And when she comes, she will visit her memorial places and saw some people like from Palau people or like different people. She also like she doesn't really speak English much, but they kind of gesturing and communication together. And she really interested about Palau people. So she actually herself, she visited Palau to make some prayer because they have some people who died during the war, like she said.
What does she think about how Saipan has changed since she lived here?
すごく文化的に日本ナイズされてますよ。日本ナイズっていうかアメリカナイズ。
アメリカナイズ？
そう、ここも。それで随分変わったなとも思うし。
She think like back then when she was a child, like many local people has like plenty children, and they are not so wealthy enough. So like they have to share the clothing with sister and brothers together like that. So sometimes they don't have no shirt to wear or something like that. Those like, but on the other hand, for her family, she is the only child, so she was enough things to wear and so forth like that. And but when she come back, she noticed that the local people living like Americans, like a more modernized things, and she think like they get more like not rich but wealthy enough to live on. So she think that's good things.
Does she want to say anything about the wartime?
The war is it's really terrible. Even somebody wins, somebody lose. Also, like people are suffering. So she do not repeat the war anymore. That's what her message.
And that concludes our conversations today from the visit of the Micronesian Repatriation Association of Okinawa made to the Marianas earlier this month in December 2022. Again, I'd like to thank Gordon Marciano of PDI, the chairman of the Micronesian Repatriation Association, and also Chioko-san for sharing their thoughts, and our translator Hiroko. We hope that you've enjoyed our look into this part of our history today. This has been Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
Your Humanities Half Hour is a production of the Northern Marianas Humanities Council, funded in part by the National Endowment for the Humanities. Any views, findings, or recommendations expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities or the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.